Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Adobe Express Bootcamp. I'm your host, Kladi, and I'm extremely excited to be here today with the wonderful Adobe Live team to showcase how powerful is the combination of working with the Creative Cloud app and Adobe Express together. In fact, I will show you how we can use the Creative Cloud libraries to merge the files that we use in Photoshop and really enhance your creation on Adobe Express. In fact, you'll be able to make a composite and then introduce that image right inside Adobe Express, which will make it super easy for you to transfer it on your social media and any other place you want on your mobile and anywhere else. So before we get started, I want to say that this is a bootcamp that has been going on already from the 15th. Tomorrow here, you have at the same time another appointment, I believe, with the lovely Annika on Adobe Live, same time, same place. And I want to also direct you to the homepage where you can discover the starter file for this challenge. In fact, you will be able to join in and also follow along if you're watching now live, or even if you're watching a replay, you can still head on behance.net/challenge/express, and you will be able to join and replay the previous stream. So you can see from May 15, we had the lovely Andrew opening up the bootcamp, and then many more other streams that you can rewatch simply by clicking on the watch video, but also you will be able to access their starting file. And therefore, you'll be able also to practice what they've been showing you during this challenge. Don't forget also that you have a Discord channel where you can post your work. All these links are right down below in my description. So don't forget to join the challenge. You can also chat with the community, join the Discord, but most importantly, head on express.adobe.com. That is the place where you'll be able to have fun with Adobe Express. And as I mentioned, all these streams start with a starter file. All you have to do is click on Get Started, and you will be able automatically to be directed into this website, which is simply a template that we've created for you to follow along. This is a template, and it's just an example to show you and practice these techniques together to create a thumbnail for YouTube. So it's a specific site that is already the right size for a YouTube thumbnail. So all you have to do is to click on Remix this design, and you will be automatically directed inside Adobe Express. Now remember, to log into Adobe Express, all you need is your Adobe ID. So all you have to do is to sign in. And here I will show you how you can use this template as it is, or you can remix it and change it. First of all, using the wonderful tools that are at your touch, at your disposal here with Adobe Express. There is so much. If you never had the chance to play with Adobe Express, this is your sign to start and have a look. As you can see here, we have text, photos, shapes, design assets. There is so much that you can explore, and editing is extremely easy. In fact, all you have to do is, once you open this template, is to click on any specific item that you see. So here we have this graphic element, or the text, or the images, and then on the right side, you will have a panel that allows you to edit any details. So for example, here we selected the text, and where it says created a YouTube thumbnail, you can go ahead and select the text and delete it and type whatever you want. But don't forget also that you can undo anything at any time. So don't forget to click and play around and really, really experiment as much as you want, because you will be able then to simply press on undo and to get back to the beginning. Also, the beauty of templates is that, for example, if I now start to change this template and make changes, but then I'm like, I can't go back because I made so many changes. You can always go back here from the starter file, click on Get Started, and the template will always start from the beginning. So you always have access to the template, and you can change it and save it as many times as you want. Speaking about saving, the first thing that you want to do here when you work on Adobe Express is to name your file. So I'm going to call this one Express Bootcamp. Oops. You can call yours whatever you want. And of course, depending on the file that you're working on, that definitely I can't spell Express Bootcamp. This will allow you to just keep track of your file. In fact, if you click on the home page on Adobe Express, you can save your project. By the way, Adobe Express works on any browsers, also on your mobile and tablet, and it saves as you go, because as you work, everything will be automatically saved. But if you now look here at the bottom of the home page, you have the latest or recent projects, so you can just go back and access them, and you can see you will recognize from the name that you're working on the same file. So that's extremely useful to keep organized. So let me show you real quick the element that we can replace, and then we're going to jump right away into Photoshop. We only have 30 minutes together. We know how fast they go, so I'm going to dive into a little bit of composite in Photoshop and show you how you can then bring it back inside Adobe Express. Okay, you can really remix this template and bring it to a more professional level if that's what you'd like to do. By the way, I wanted to say hello in the chat. Let us know, as usual, where are you watching from? I'm always very excited to learn more about our wonderful international community. I'm currently streaming from Manchester, UK. I can see Umakura in the chat. Lovely to see you. Seeing Cody Bear, thank you so much for being here. Sajid, woohoo, lovely to have you here. If you have any question, use this time that we have together live to ask any question regarding Adobe Express. In particular, as I mentioned, I will be focusing on the wonderful interoperability between Creative Cloud, in this case, Photoshop and Illustrator and Express together. So use this time to leave your question, or you can just join the Discord afterwards if you have further questions. Okay, Frank, lovely to see you here. And what's up to all of you that are going to be watching this on a replay? So let's get started. As I said, real quick, I'm going to show you can edit the text as I show you by simply clicking on it. You have font recommendations, which are super useful. They allow you to change the font so you can preview different fonts right away. And again, click on the back or Control Z to undo. If you do not like the specific font, you can go back to the one that I picked. And to change the colors, maybe of the banner, select on it, boom, on the right, still you have the properties panel there that will give you maximum flexibility in editing any element that you find displayed inside your artwork here inside Adobe Express. Then something else that you can do is to change the images in the background. Here you have layers that will show you how the template is structured. So you have these two graphic elements, then we have clicks, and if you click on the layers, look what happened. It will automatically detect and select online inside your image. What are you clicking on? So now you can see I've selected the image and I have the bounding box inside the image. Then I have these graphic elements, and you can move them back and forward as you prefer. Here already at another image. So if you select, that's already another image that I decided to put for you to have a play and to see maybe what happens if I just bring everything down and I'll just bring the image forward. That's the idea of having another image and a composition. This is an image, by the way, that I found here inside Adobe Express, because here you have access directly to amazing photos thanks to the integration with Adobe Stock. So all you have to do is to choose whatever, so let's say abstract, for example. And you can see many, many wonderful images that are there at your fingertips, and then you can reuse. But what happens if you're looking to create an asset that is more connected with your brand? This is awesome, by the way. Look, it took me 3 seconds and already completely gave a different spin to our, look at that. I can only simply change the order of the images again to kind of bring it back to the order. Look how easy it is. And I can automatically change this wonderful background that I've created. So maybe we don't even need that specific text. Look how cool it is. And then I can choose the text and then change the color. So that's easy and done simply by working Adobe Express. But what if I want to implement an image here that is connecting with another project that I'm doing? So in this case, I was in particular working on a composition for one of my reels on Instagram. And I'm going to go ahead and open it here. Now, because we have only 30 minutes, I'm just going to show you part of the workflow and the similarity and what you can do in Adobe Express as well. But this is the final composite. I think I have it over here. This is the composite that I used in my reel. It's just an abstract composition made almost like a collage made in Photoshop. So how can I bring all these images together? And I want to show you bits of it. So here what I've done is just remove the background of course, now I'm working within the same size. And by the way, if you're not sure on the size, I can give you an heads up because this is the 1920 by 1080, which is the standard high HD resolution that we're going to be using for the YouTube thumbnail. So what you can do also is right away, whenever you access the template, is to head on download and download the JPEG file, and you can open that inside Photoshop. That already gives you an idea of the image. So that's what I've done here. That's just to have an idea of also the layout if you want perhaps to play and have an idea of the positioning of how you want to create your composite. So then what I've done here is to start to import some of the images using the remove background feature, which I'll show you in a second. So here is my lovely lady sitting inside of the building. And just to give an idea, I'm just going to do this in Photoshop. So I show you that this is actually a file that I've created myself inside Photoshop. So I place the background. We see all the layer here. I'm already using the libraries. By the way, for those of you who are not familiar with libraries, you can find the libraries panel throughout your Creative Cloud apps under the window top menu. So if you click window, you will be able to access either libraries or CC libraries, and that will allow you to bring up the libraries panel. Now, I absolutely love working with libraries. I was really excited to be able to show you this during this stream. As you can see here, I'm being absolutely honest. If I'll be able to go back, let's see, it looks like it's literally frozen here for a second, but I use a ton of libraries. See, for some reason it's not letting me use. Let's see if I can hop back into Illustrator, because as I say, libraries here are literally, here they are. So look how many libraries I use, a ton. Per each project, all here that you see listed are the libraries that I use over and over again. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create a new library, or let's see if we can do this in Photoshop. Otherwise, we're just going to be using this library here that is called 00 Kladi. By the way, it wasn't Photoshop, it was me. I have an image, as you can see here, I have a blue bounding box. So all it means that I have to press enter or return key to place it. And now I will be able to access the panel. So there is always a reason. And I'm glad that we discovered it here together during the live. So 15 minutes to go. Time is ticking. I want to show you, you can quickly bring up this composite inside Express. So what I've done here is just simply select this image. As you can see, once you bring an image from your libraries, also it appears inside your layers panel. And then from the properties panel, again, if you cannot find any panels over here, you will be able automatically to find it under the window top menu. By selecting your image, you are able to, first of all, rasterize it. And by rasterizing it, you can access the quick action, in this case, remove background. If you used Adobe Express before, this is also an option available inside Adobe Express. It mirrors what Photoshop is doing here. Just with Photoshop, we are able to create a more complex composition. So in this case here, don't forget that you can use the mask that you have created with the brush. And with the brush, you can change the size of the brush that you're using. And I'm going to go really quick here to show you how you can bring elements, subtract, and add elements from your mask simply by using the brush. Remember, if you use the white, you're actually bringing in part of the element from the mask, while if you use the black here inside your brush, so all you have to do is to swap between black and white in your foreground color, you will be able to hide any part of the mask that you wish not to use. So right quick here, we've just been changing the mask. But as I said, this is still something that we could have perhaps have achieved in Express. So I'm going to bring it a little bit further here. I'm going to use one of the coolest feature in Photoshop that is called paper warp. So with a paper warp, you will be able to move your image around. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and create a smart object of my layer. So if we go ahead and convert our object into a smart, our layer into a smart object, let's see if it happens here, we would then be able, oh, let's see if we can actually, if we can bring it together, we'll be able to merge it as well. So it looks like my Photoshop saying that I got too many things open over here. Let's go ahead and try to switch to start. There we go. So here now we'll probably be able to move along and convert the sparked object. All I've done is right click inside my panel. I'm going to bring my layers panel over here so you can see it a little bit better. And then, as I said, you can here head from the edit menu and select paperwork. And with the paperwork, you will be able to add some points, pinpoint your image, and then you can move area of the image around. So see here, I can bring the seated position in a way where I looked at our model is actually sitting inside the on top of the building. Also, something that you can do here with the paperwork, you can keep part of the image stable by assigning the pin, and then you can use other pin to move it around. Another way around, if you wish to have a more general distortion of the image, is just simply use the Control T to access the transformation. And then by right-clicking on it, you can also perhaps decide to skew or distort. That's another option. Instead of simply rotating it, you can perhaps decide, up to you, if you just want to rotate it. In this case, it's letting me know that all the filter will be applied. In this case, I'll just make it a little bit smaller and I rotate it like that. And then if you need, for example, like in here, to remove part of the image that are still sitting there and part of the background before they were just above, so we couldn't see them, all you have to do is to double click inside the smart object. And you see here, we still have our mask feature. And like we were doing before, we can go ahead with our brush and making sure that we're painting in black over the mask. You can go ahead and delete any area of the image that you don't want to use. And then you can save your file, go back to your composition, and you will see that the area of the image is being removed. That is pretty awesome, is that also you can access the paperwork at any time, and you can perhaps change the position. Look at that. Look how cool. We're literally having her sitting with her feet on top. So you can always modify your paperwork composition as you go. And we have enough element here to have created a more complex composition with Photoshop. So what I usually do is simply to bring all these elements together by selecting the layer and pressing Control G to group them. And then I tend to duplicate it. So I create a duplicate. And I tend to rasterize this layer or simply create a smart object. You can also export it simply by right-clicking on it and select export, quick export, either PNG or JPEG. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and rasterize the layer. It just flattens all your layer. That means that now we have one single image, but don't worry, I've duplicated here. So if I need to do any change, we always have that preserved original images there. And then, as I mentioned, we're going to use these wonderful libraries. I'm going to go ahead and create a new library. And I want to show you here, there is no other library that is called Express. And I'm going to go real quick inside Adobe Express to show you that if we head here into libraries, because I really want to show you this happening live. Those are the library. There is no library. There is one called Adobe Express, but I think that we're going to call this one 000 because so we're going to show it up on top. So I'm going to go back inside Photoshop, create a new library. I'm going to call it 000, name it as you wish, click on create, and then simply drag your composition that you rasterized inside Photoshop. I can already see a little mistake here because we have not trimmed the composition, but that's not a problem. I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to simply press Control A to select all the pixels here inside my image. Let's see if we switch to, here it is. You should be able to select all pixels, and then by selecting the crop tool, we can then crop our image. So let's make sure that we do that real quick. Here it is. So if you do select and then crop, you will be able, making sure that delete cropped pixel is selected, you will be able now to crop it to size. Here it is. That's exactly what we want. We give Photoshop a second to bring it together. And now once I bring it inside my library, we should see already an updated version of the size. See, we don't have the building here showing up. Now, we're doing all of that. Why? Because now we can jump back inside our lovely Adobe Express. And sometimes I just get out of the libraries when I'm there just to give it a chance to refresh. Or sometimes you can simply refresh, don't even need it. Here we have our brand new library 000 that I've created here with you during the live. All I have to do is to open the library, and then it will show the two assets. See, one was the one with the wrong size. Then here we have the one with the right size. Click on it. Boom. Is there ready for you to be accessed and be placed inside your template. So now we have our image ready to go. And what I can do is to bring it down here in the background. And now I can start to move around all these other elements, perhaps change the text, or why not? We can also introduce some new text element. For example, this amazing lockup where it says "Tip." Let's go ahead and select this one. It looks quite cool, like it fits the style of the image. And again, all you have to do here is simply to select the text, in this case, double click when you're working on Adobe Express and you have a blue bounding box. That means that your elements are grouped. So double click into it in order to enter a different part of the group. Here you can change whatever you want. So here, for example, we can call this Photoshop tips. Here it is. And then you can also change the color if you wish. You can pick any color you want, or maybe you can go ahead and pick any color from the image that we have created inside Photoshop, just like so. And then, of course, you will be able to resize it and place it wherever you want. But what if now I have my logo, which is in Illustrator? How do I bring my logo inside Adobe Express to kind of finish this off and make sure that I've got my signature inside this thumbnail? We're really easy, just like we've done with Photoshop. In this case, I'm not going to create the logo, but as you can see, I am inside Illustrator. And by the way, I'm going to actually show you a little bit more. I think we have a few minutes to do that. So here in my libraries, I actually have a library with my logo, which is called Kladi 2023, I believe. Let's go ahead and see if we can find it. That is a library that I usually use for my logo. Again, library are so amazing. They allow you to access and share your file anywhere and anytime throughout the apps. So this is actually already available, but what if I want to swap it and change it? So all I have to do is to double click. So right now I'm inside Photoshop. All I have to do is to double click inside this artwork that I know that is an artwork from Illustrator. So we're going from Photoshop to the libraries, boom, to Illustrator. We can go ahead and change a color just so to make something different. I'm just going to create this blue and then press Command S to save. Now, if I head back inside Photoshop, you will see that this color has already changed. But most importantly, I can head back inside Adobe Express, and through my libraries, I can go ahead and find that libraries, which was the Kladi 2023. By the way, look how smart it is. Adobe Express keep updating the order of the libraries depending on the last library that you have used within any Creative Cloud app. So the last library that I've opened up in Photoshop, boom, is now available for you on top of the list in my library. I don't even have to bother search. And once I click on it, here it is that the file that I've swapped and changed is now available for us to use. So I can go ahead and either delete, or simply what I like to do when I work in templates, I like to hide things underneath because it doesn't really change anything. So they're still there available for use if you want, or if you change your mind. And here I've got my little logo there. So all I have to do, this is an Illustrator logo that we just edited. I'm just going to go ahead and place it on my file. And now I have all these elements working together. And this is so awesome. It's just so super quick to work with these elements like so. You can also, remember, change any sort of graphics, colors. It's super amazing the way that you work with this app. Don't forget that you also can add shadows and change the color of the shadow if you wish to do so. I think there was a shadow here. We can now make it in black. You can change the color of the outline as well. I think we got 1 minute to go. I can't believe it. But you can change the color of the outline. You can change the angle of the outline. You can do so much. And here we literally used our template. It was there to give it the right size, to give indication of where to place the text, where to place the images. We could add any more items if we wish to do so. And then we introduced our composition that real quick we created inside Photoshop, brought up our vector logo. Actually, we edited the color going from Photoshop to Illustrator seamlessly, thanks to the Creative Cloud libraries. And then they were ready for us to be put together in order to make your downloadable item ready to go inside Adobe Express. So this is the place where all your creation come together. And very last thing before we go, click on download to then simply download your file. You can choose the format within PNG. You also have the option to download with a transparent background, or also as a JPEG or a PDF. Click on the format that you prefer and click on Start Download, and you're ready to go. Now here you'll be able to download your image. And if you open it inside your folder, let's see, here it is. It's ready to be used anywhere we want. So I really hope you enjoy this stream and you find it useful, and you're going to bring the power of Photoshop, Illustrator, and Adobe Express together for your creations. Don't forget to stay tuned. So much more fun here in Adobe Live. And tomorrow, same place, same time, another amazing episode of this Adobe Express Bootcamp. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. I hope to see you very soon. Ciao.